Hello, welcome to Math Companion. Now we have this equation here that we need to work on. Now before solving it, we need to remind ourselves about um, the identities. Okay, so we know sine squared x plus cosine squared x is equals to 1, and therefore we can say cos squared x is simply equals to 1 minus sine squared x. This is very important. We are going to use it in solving this equation. Meanwhile, I ask you to subscribe so that you get notified every time we post very interesting questions. All right, now we are going to rewrite the equation above using this new reality. So we have 81 sine squared x plus 81. Now instead of 81 cos squared x, we are going to write it as 1 minus sine squared x. It's equals to 30. Now we want to simplify this part here further. So 81 to power 1, then you multiply by, or you divide by, actually, because we have the power is a minus, you divide by 81 sine squared x, right? And then here we have plus, this is 81 sine squared x is equals to 30. Now we can simplify this one further as 81 sine squared x plus 81 over 81 sine squared x. It's equals to 30. Now we are going to put sine squared, 81 to power sine squared x to be equals to y. So in most cases I've been using m, so you can just use n later to make a substitution. Now we are going to then rewrite this equation. Now instead of 81 sine squared x, we are going to put y. This is the best way to simplify this equation. So it's going to be y plus 81 over y is equals to 30. Now doing a cross multiplication, you multiply by y here, by y, and here by y. So to get rid of this denominator, so here therefore we are going to have y squared plus 81 is equals to 30y. Clearly this is a quadratic equation, so we are going to reorganize it into its standard form. So it's going to be y squared plus 81, y squared minus 30y plus 81 is equals to 0. We are going to do the factorization here. So we figure out what two numbers, when you add, you are going to get negative 30. So negative 30, and those two numbers, when you multiply, you are going to get 81. So the two numbers are negative 3 and negative 27. So y squared can be split into y multiplied by y. And therefore the factors are actually y minus 3 and y minus 27 is equals to 0. Therefore the values for y minus 3 will be equals to 0, and therefore y is equals to 3, and y minus 27 will be equals to 0. The second solution for y is going to be 27. Now we want to replace back what we substituted before. Now in our substitution, this is what we did. We said 81 sine squared x was y. So comparing with the first solution, so we can say 81 sine squared is equals to y. Now instead of y, we are going to replace with the answers that we got. One of the answer was 3. And this means we have to make 81 to be the base of 3. 81 is the same as 81 is just equal to 3 to power 4. Okay. Now then, it's going to be 3 to power 4 sine squared x is equals to 3 to power 1. Now you cancel the bases because they are the same. Therefore, we are going to have 4 sine squared x is equals to 1. And divide by 4 on both sides. Hence, we are going to have sine squared x is equals to 1. Therefore, sine x is equals to the is equals to the square root of 1 over 4, and usually the square root has to be plus or minus. Now sine x is equals to the square root of plus or minus 1 over 4. Therefore x will be equals to the sine inverse of plus or minus the square root of 1 over 4 plus pi n. Because we're having plus or minus, therefore the period will be just pi n. So this is the same as minus plus or minus the sine. What is the square root of 4? It is the same as 1 over the square root of 2 plus or minus pi n. Finally, the answer here is going to be, what is this sine inverse of 1 over the square root of 2? The sine inverse in this case, it is 45 degrees, which is the same as pi over 4 plus pi n. So those are the first and the second solutions for x. Now, next we are going to look for the third and the fourth solutions of x. Now, the third and the fourth solutions for x here, we are going to work with the second solution that we had for y here. So we are going to say 81 sine squared x will be equals to 27. And so in this case, this is 3 to power 4 sine squared x is equals to 27 is the same as 3 to power 3. So because the bases are the same, we are going to cancel them out. So then 4 sine squared x is equals to 3 divided by 4 divided by 4. Okay, which means the sine squared x is equals to 3 over 4, and hence sine x is equals to plus or minus the square root of 3 over 4. Now, working out the solution for this, it's going to be the sine inverse. So another solution now, it's going to be x will be equals to the sine inverse of the square root of 3 over 2, because when you look for the square root of 3 over 4, it's going to be the square root of 3 over 4, and it was plus or minus in this case, and it's going to be plus pi n. So another value for x is going to be, this is 60 degrees, so it's going to be plus or minus. Instead of 60 degrees, it's the same as pi over 3. Pi over 3, okay, plus pi n, whereby n refers to all the integers. N is the member of all the integers. Therefore, our answers are 4. So x1 is equals to pi over 4 plus pi n, whereby n is an integer. The next solution is minus pi over 4 plus pi n, whereby n is all the integers. The third solution is going to be pi over 3 plus pi n, whereby n is the member of all the integers. Okay, and yeah, the integers. And the fourth solution, x4, is when we have minus pi over 3 plus pi n, whereby n are all the integers. Now, for example, if our integers are actually, let's say our n value is just a 0, if our n is a 0, so let's say n is 0. I'm going to use a black here. N is 0. Therefore, one of the solution, it's going to be pi over 4. The next solution is going to be negative pi over 4. The next solution is going to be pi over 3. The next one is going to be negative pi over 3. All right, negative pi over 3. Yeah, negative pi over 3. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and so that you keep yourself updated with the very, very interesting math question that we keep posting here. All right, have a great time. Bye-bye.